Okay, this is another problem that deals with graphing parabolas. So let's take a few minutes and go through this. All right, so the steps, a couple of different ways you can graph parabolas. The steps that we're going to use in this video is to determine whether the parabola opens up or down, and that all depends on if the value, the a value is positive or negative. And then you find the vertex by using this formula, negative b over 2a, to find the x coordinate. And then you replace that x coordinate with that value in the original function or equation to find the y coordinate. All right, then we'll find the x and y intercepts. And we'll use the y-intercept and axis of symmetry, oh, sorry about that, to find another point if necessary. Okay, and this general summary is on page 296 of your textbook. All right, so 4.3, lesson 4.3, number 41. We have the function negative 2x squared plus 2x minus 3. From this, I can determine that a is equal to negative 2, because that's the number on x squared, b is equal to 2, and c is equal to negative 3. And what that tells me is that the parabola opens downward since a is negative. So I know that this parabola should open downward. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the calculations. All right, finding the axis of symmetry and the vertex. To find the axis of symmetry, we're going to plug into this formula using our a, b, and c from the function. So we'll say that x equals negative, that's already in the formula, and then 2 all over 2 times negative 2. And that gives us x equals negative 2 over negative 4. And that gives us an x coordinate for our vertex of 1/2. Now the line x equals 1/2 is also your axis of symmetry, so that serves two purposes. That's your axis of symmetry if we draw that vertical line, and that's also the x uh, coordinate for our vertex. Now to find the y coordinate, we will take our equation, which was f of x equals, but we're going to call it y equals negative 2x squared plus 2x minus 3. And then we're going to replace the x's with the x coordinate we just found. So y equals negative 2 times 1/2 squared plus 2 times 1/2 minus 3. Calculate. 1/2 squared is 1/4. 2 times 1/2 is 1. Negative 2 times 1/4 is negative 1/2. And I'm going to go ahead and get a common denominator. So that's plus 2 over 2. And that's minus 6 over 2. So negative 1 plus 2 is 1. And then minus 6 is negative 5/2. So that tells me that my y coordinate of my vertex is negative 5/2, or negative 2.5 may be easier to think about when we're graphing. So that's our vertex. So we know from that point our graph is going to open downward. All right, now let's see about finding x and y intercepts. To find your y-intercept is fairly simple. You will simply replace the x with 0. So again, we have the equation y equals negative 2x squared plus 2x minus 3. So let's find the y-intercept first. So to find the y-intercept, you simply replace your x's with zeros. 0 times anything is 0, so we have 0 there, and we end up with negative 3. So the y-intercept is 0, negative 3. Okay, let's look at the x-intercept, and I'm going to use the quadratic formula to find the x-intercept. So again, remember that A is equal to -2, B is equal to 2, and C equals -3. So remember your quadratic formula, x equals -b, so -2, plus or minus b squared, so 2 squared, minus 4 times a, which is -2, times c, which is -3, all over 2a, so 2 times -2. And then calculate again. So 2 squared is 4. -4 times -2 is 8. 8 times -3 is -24. So 4 minus 24 all over -4. So 4 minus 24 is -20. And I can stop there because I have a negative number underneath my radical. And that tells me that I will not have any real x-intercepts. So I won't have any real x-intercepts. So my y-intercept is 0, -3, and I don't have any real number x-intercepts. Okay, so let's take the information that we have and plot it on a graph. Okay, so we know the vertex is 1/2 and -2.5. So 1/2 over and -2.5, right about in there. And then we know that the y-intercept is 0, -3. So 0, -3. Now, if our axis of symmetry, our imaginary axis of symmetry is right there, then we know that this point here, our y-intercept, is 1/2 of a place away from that axis of symmetry, from that main line. So if we have a point right there that's 1/2 place away from the main line, then 1/2 to the other side will have to be another point. So 1, -3 will be another point on our parabola. And we can draw our graph. Okay, I hope you found that to be helpful.